Hello Chipsters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today it's nothing to show you. It's just saying, is anybody going to Telford this year? So I've booked my ticket. I've got to say I wasn't sure whether I was going to go this year or not. I've head problems have been pretty bad and all bits and pieces, and I wasn't sure. I was just thinking, no, I'll give it a miss. But to be honest with you, it's the only time I get out of the house really, apart from obviously I take my pops, well, Archie, for a walk. And I have got to go to the dentist this weekend. Hurrah! Yeah, I know how to live. But yeah, that's it. It's literally dentist, curry house once a month, and that's it. And I go to Telford, and I only go to Telford because it's up the road. It's about half an hour away from me. So yeah, I was just wondering, anybody going to Telford? I shall be there Saturday, approximately about, I've said to my wife, every year I go early. My wife drives me. I think the first time my wife came in with me, she drove me up because my head gets, even to do something like that, my head gets so stressed out, it's I'm a disaster. So yeah, she came with me the first time, then Mick came with me the second time. Then last year, I went by myself. She drove me up there and dropped me off, and it was I felt fairly flat last year with it. It was so many of the European clubs and that weren't there, so there weren't as many model displays up, and obviously just the pressure. I mean, there's COVID hasn't gone away, has it? But yeah, it was that was messing with my head a lot, and I thought, this year, do I go or not? And I thought, no, stuff it. So my wife said, look, it's the only place you go to, it's not far away, she'll drop me off again. But rather than go like last year, we went out early doors. Right, after that interruption, I have no idea what I was talking about, not with my head being suspended. So, yeah, I know I was talking about Telford. Yeah, so we're going to go about, she's going to drop me off about 11:30, something like that. I don't normally use it as a shopping trip, as some of the guys do. I find it, again, it messes with my head too. It's like feeding house at an alligator farm. Feeding time at an alligator farm around the people selling stuff. It's just mayhem. I know head doesn't do mayhem. So I just stand back and let them get on with it. I don't even bother going looking for kits or anything. But I do like to look around. Some of the booksellers that are there, I can usually. I think last year was probably the worst year I'd had for getting books, because I normally bring a bit of money with me just to, me, I love my books. But there wasn't a ton of stuff there. I did get a nice one on the Striker APC, because I've got a Striker to build, and that was marked down. I don't think anybody was interested in it, so I took that off their hands. And one on, it's like photographs of the Syrian conflict, of armoured vehicles and stuff like that. Again, it was on special. So things like that I look out for. But I will be going to, I don't know if it's Oakfield, I can't remember. The guy who does the plinths that I buy, that's why you haven't seen that marine bust, by the way, because in the end I decided, you know what, I will go to Telford, rather than, I'll pick and choose the things as in front of me this time. So I'll probably buy 2 or 3 plinths. I've got the marine from Guadalcanal to just really mount. I've just got to do the helmet straps, mount him on, and jobs are good on that one. So we'll get a final reveal sometime after Telford. Well, we'll get a final reveal if the bloke who sells the plinths is there. If not, I'll have to get him off online. But anyway, so I've got that, and I've got a Waffen SS in the Ardennes Grenadier to do as well. I've got a mini bust as well, a Napoleonic one, but I've already got the plinth for that. It's in fact the last plinth I've got in my stores, if that makes sense. So yeah, look for some plinths. Just peruse the book sections. It's the only time I go, oh, I've got to get in. There's not so much of a frenzy on books as there is on kits, so I can tend to usually get in there and see what I want. I've got a feeling it might be a lot more packed out this year, just because obviously people would have given it a miss last year. And obviously the year before it was cancelled. So I can see it being a lot more crowded this year. But I'm usually only there for, I think I was there 2 hours last year. But yeah, 2 or 3 hours. My wife gets the call and I just stand up on the road waiting for half an hour. Things that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm hoping all the other clubs are back, because it was a miss for them not to be there when I went last year. You know, there was a lot of empty table space. That wasn't the IPMS's fault. It's just obviously with all restrictions and whatever. But saying that though, with the prices that everything is, there could find that the international clubs can't afford to come, or the guys connected to them. So it'll be interesting to see. Really looking forward to the ships. I always when I went with my wife and Mick on those first 2 occasions, they got a place in the foyer, and I love seeing the ships. That's my favourite bit, to be honest with you. I have said to myself, I mean, it's 70 quid, so I doubt I'll have the money. But if Starling Models is there with their 1 in 700s HMS Glamorgan, which is like a Falklands veteran multimedia kit, so resin and photo etch and stuff, I might get that, but that's a big ask. 70 quid. Ooh, that would clean me out completely. So I'd have to make sure I get my plinths and that. I need to get plinths and that, because I've got none in stock, and I want that marine bust in my cabinet. So I'm really looking forward to. I like seeing them all. As I say, I'm definitely a Sierra and Land guy. I like seeing the cars. It's weird. My Mara Tom, old Tom, Mr. Rambler 69, and a couple of the other guys that I know are top-notch car guys, I have never yet. They put up now. I know Tom will be going to Acme a week or a couple of days before Telford. When he puts the cars up from Acme, the different pictures, not including his own, I will take Tom out of the equation because we all know he's a top class modeller. They are they really, as I say, I don't know one car really from another, but it's just the colours and the paint. I can tell a really well worked car, Tom's testament to that. And I've never, I got caned last time for saying stuff on the Telford visit, but I haven't seen any cars at Telford that I thought matched that standard. I've got to say, not in the competition area. We won't go in the competition area again, but just on the modelling tables, I've never seen what I've seen at the videos on Acme. Now maybe that's because a lot of the guys are really focused on cars there. I have no idea. But what I'm saying is I like to see it all, modelling. There isn't a great deal of busts and figures on, each model club will sometimes, if somebody's interested in a particular thing, I'll have a few up, but there's not like tables of them, which is a shame really, because obviously as a figure painter as well, mainly figure painter, that's what I enjoy seeing as well, but you don't really see a lot of that, not on a big scale. Looking forward to the ships particularly. They're not massively represented. There's also a Scale Model Boat World, not Scale Model Boat World, something like that, and that's down somewhere in the Midlands, and I'm in the West Midlands, so it won't be that far away. But yeah, there's one of those around. I don't remember if it's autumn time, springtime. I should start going to see that. A lot of it's RC, but there is also a lot of model ships and stuff. So I should go and take a look at that at some stage. But yeah, I'm rambling again, aren't I? So yeah, just saying, if anybody's there, Gav will be there. You can't miss me. I'm over 6 foot. I look like a melted snowman. It's definitely gone to seed. But yeah, come up and say hello. I know I've got mental health problems, but I don't bite you. Not yet, anyway. So look after yourselves. If you are going to Telford, whether I see you or not, I hope you have a good time. As I say, it's one of them. It's one of them places that when it feels good for me, it's a good pickup. You know what I mean? So I did feel a bit flat last year. I think that just had the whole aspect of it got me down. You know, and that's nothing against the IPMS at all. It's just the whole situation we've been in, I think, and I say it just brought it home when there was such a lack of, not a lack of people walking around, but just a lack of some of the, you know, the displays you would normally see there. But never mind. This year, I'm sure they're going to knock it out the park. Look after yourselves. Coming up on videos, as I say, we're a bit of dearth of videos at the moment, only because I'm not in between stuff, but the stuff that's not work. I'm not doing enough on the Lexington to bother showing you yet, although she's been worked on. There's not enough on the HMS Kent to show you without showing you, you know, just a tiny bit more progression than I did last time. I have got I'm milking these Hussars, aren't I? I just like putting them up. I'm only doing 2 at a time. As I say, it's probably been better just doing all the horses and then going and doing the riders all in one go. But never mind. I didn't think that far ahead. So yeah, you're getting 2 more Napoleonic horses probably tomorrow. You know, the Hussars, I should say. I've done another stand of British epic scale from Warlord. British, but again, it's a stand. It's only, you know, 2 rows, ranks of them. You've already seen that, so I don't really see a point in showing you exactly the same what you've seen. The Norman infantry is really dragging its feet. I did manage to paint a whole painted helmet, you know, when they paint over the metal, on one of the guys the other day, but that's as far as it got. What else? Nothing to tell you on the 6mm front, nothing to tell you on the promised Panther finish, still not finished. That's the little diorama for the 1 in 72 scale, but one day that needs to be finished, I think, before Telford. Don't know why, but it just needs to get finished before Telford. I keep promising myself to do the next stage on the Badger, because at some stage over the winter time I've got a couple of options on builds, but I'm leaning more to take on the bigger project sometime over the winter of doing my Ukrainian BMP3, but because I wanted to put it on a small base with the figures that Joe had sent me, Ukrainian tankers or armour personnel carrier crews sitting around, that's really going to be fairly involved, and you know my thing for finishing things and getting them done, and I don't want, you know how much of a supporter of Ukraine I am, and I don't want to, that's why it hasn't been taken on yet, because I just felt, I knew that if my head wasn't in the right place, not head, but you know how I jump around on stuff, and I don't want to jump around on that. That's my tribute to Ukraine and the people, the Ukrainians fighting over there. So I want to do that justice. I don't want it to be a parked project, because it can't be. So I don't want to put myself under pressure for that. So you will see that at some stage between now and February. I really would like to do that. I've got all the photo etch, I've got everything for it. It just needs to have me in the right place in my head to do it. So the Badger, I would like to get the Badger out of the way. Yes, I know I've got the bike as well, but I've got to be in the right, I'm just not in the right place for the bike at the moment. But the Badger, tank destroyer, British tank destroyer, paper tank, that just, I don't know why I'm dragging my feet with that. I've got to put some black camouflage on it, and then I've got to do obviously all the weathery bits. I've got to stick the side skirts on, stick the wheels and the dreaded tracks. The tracks all came together. They've all formed, well, they formed apart in chunks, but they're not massively, they're delicate, but they came together okay. So I've got a feeling once I play around with them, I should be able to get those in position without, you know, Gav might have actually be able to get some tracks done, but we'll wait and see on that. But I don't know what it is, you know, we were all well, not all the same, are we? But, you know, I do drag my feet on stuff sometimes. I just hit a wall, and they just have to, they're not shelf queens, they're draw queens in my case, because I don't like having them out in the dust and stuff. So I've got a couple of deep drawers, and they get put in there until I'm ready to, so the bike's in about 15 pieces. It's parked up one corner of the drawer with some more paper towel over the top, waiting for me to visit it. Oh, the ME109. Yeah, I should again. ME109. All right, got that far. It really just, yeah, it comes and goes. I keep promising myself I won't open another kit. I mean, what did I do with Lexington? But I have been wanting to do the Lexington for a long time since I first bought it. That's why I bought it. And I do, maybe the ships I have finally found, it's hard because I enjoy doing the armour as well in 1 in 35. Maybe the ships, it's a place I've always been. I would say I've probably, as a kid, and building them and stuff, you know, it took me away from all the crap and that, and I enjoyed doing the ships, you know, because as I've said on I think the video the other day, when I was a kid, you still had all the black and white films, you know, whether British, American, whatever, you know, all the wartime ones, or, you know, not propaganda, but you know what I mean, they're done in the war or in the 1950s, and the Brits in the 1950s. I mean, my Mara Bob from Greybeard Models had been building the two Gecko. Had built the Gecko, and my Mara Gary from Gary's stuff had built the Airfix and the Gecko KT ambulances, and they've both been obviously going on about Ice Cold in Alex. But it was those type of films in those early 50s to the very early 60s. They really knocked out some good. Yeah, you know, obviously the models, they obviously didn't have CGI and everything, but CGI could be clunky still. But you know, you knew you were looking at models, or like that colour one of because the Battle of the River Plate was always one of my favourites, as in a historical thing with the ships, and that was the Admiral Graf Spee taking on the British cruiser squadron. I say British. Obviously, we had the crew of HMS Exeter from New Zealand, but yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, that you were looking at an American cruiser because it happened to have three barrels per turret. You know, you knew you were looking at an American heavy cruiser. Obviously, you weren't looking at they wouldn't know pocket battleships floating around, and it did make you laugh because I only put it on YouTube the other somebody put it on YouTube. It's a bad copy, I think. Someone put it on YouTube, and they got the I don't know, the British Merchant Navy prisoners were being brought alongside to go up the Graf Spee, and the boat crew had got German helmets on, but the rest of the crew looking down had all got American helmets on because they were all, I think it might have been the USS Salem, I'm not sure, but they were all American. Obviously, they weren't going to put like 600 helmets on people, so the rest of them were wearing normal United States helmets, Navy helmets, and they'd obviously got enough for about 6 guys to have these German Fritz helmets on. So, but you look past all that, and they're really good films. So yeah, that's it. I'm rambling, I know. Look after yourselves. We'll see each other, as I say, on probably tomorrow, even with the Napoleonics. HMS Kent, I haven't started. I've been starting the raidings. I haven't been. As I say, I had a bit of a bad relapse from my head for a couple of days, and there's no point trying to do stuff like that. So Kent is still waiting for his ship's railings. I've done all the stanchions on them and paint. You know, the stanchions, all that's been done. The anchor chain's been put on and primed. It's just putting on the ship's railings. And once we've done that, as I say, it's not done, but and decals have got to go on. So yeah, decals, all right. Then I've got to semi-gloss varnish it and then decal it, all the rest of it. But there's not a ton of stuff to do. And then I can look around for some little 1 in 700 crew figures, and we'll look at trying to. Oh, all right then, rig it all as well. But apart from that, it's almost done. So I expect to see that finished sometime just after Christmas, and I'm not joking. But yeah, you know, she's getting there. Lexington, not a lot more has happened. Obviously, I've got all the sausages up there waiting to. I'm just about to put some holes in the base, and for the bolts to go through, and then I'm hoping tonight to do a first bit of photo etch, which will be. Photo etch I bought from at Edward one, I think, and they give you a degaussing cable. Now it's flat because it's photo etched. We'll go into that when I stuck it on, but it's still better than nothing. You know what I mean? So I've got that's going to be fun getting that in a straight line. You know what my straight lines are like. I mean, but yeah, we got to put a degaussing cable around the hole. So you know, little bits are happening to her as well. So I'm rambling again, aren't I? Stop rambling, Gav. Look after yourselves. As I say, for the 100th time, if you're going to Telford, you could go to Telford. I don't know where that place is, but it probably exists somewhere. But if you're going to Telford, yeah, say hello. And we'll catch each other soon on another video.